Hello, my name is Adriana Lee of Yoga with Adriana, and today I'll be taking you through a relaxing yoga practice to help you let go. Some of the things that you'll need for today's practice are 2 blocks, preferably the same size, a strap if you have one. If you don't, it's not the end of the world, you can still do the pose without it, and a bolster. I have a small bolster, ideally yours is a little bit bigger, and if you do not have a bolster, you can use either a yoga mat with a blanket draped over it, or if you don't have an extra yoga mat, use a couple of blankets stacked up on top of each other. We'll begin today's practice with Shivananda breath. Come into a comfortable seat. If your hips are tight, you can choose to sit on top of something like a blanket or a block or your bolster. Rest your palms either facing down on your knees or up, whatever is most comfortable, and close your eyes. Begin your inhale low into your belly. Inhale until your breath is totally full, and then hold your breath. With your breath held, relax your shoulders and your jaw. Avoid tightening in your chest. And then exhale. Let all the breath out and hold your breath out. Do your best to keep your hips, your shoulders, your jaw all soft as you hold your breath. And then inhale when you need to inhale. And we'll repeat that. Inhale until you're full. Hold your breath. Keep your body as relaxed as you can as you hold your breath, maintaining tall spine. Exhale completely. And hold your breath out. Again, making sure that your body stays relaxed as you hold your breath out. And we'll take one more round of Shivananda breath. Inhale fully. Hold your breath, keeping your jaw, your neck, your throat, your chest all soft. Exhale fully. And hold your breath out for as long as you comfortably can. No tension. Relax your shoulders, your jaw, your neck. Our first pose is Supta konasana. You'll need most of your props for this pose. Set up with your blanket about halfway down your mat. This will pad your hips. And then your bolster, or possibly your stack of blankets for your spine. Because my bolster is not very big, I prefer using a bolster and a blanket. Then you'll need your 2 blocks. These you'll place on either side of your knees at whatever height is comfortable for you. You'll bring the soles of your feet together and your knees wide in a butterfly shape. And then from there, the most complicated part of this is your strap. So with your strap, unroll it all the way. And then take the end through both buckles, over one and under the other. If you did it right, you should be able to tighten it. Then from there, make sure you have a really big loop in your strap. Take the strap over your head, slide it down your back towards your sacrum, the very lowest part of your lower back. It will go between your knees, not around, and then over your feet. From there, tighten the strap by pulling on the end until it's pretty comfortably tight, not like a vice grip, but just comfortable. And then lie down on your back. Your bolster should come all the way up to your sacrum, so making sure that your entire spine is supported. Rest your arms by your sides with your palms facing up. If this is too much on your neck, you can either place a pillow or a block or something underneath your neck for a little support. And then close your eyes. Get totally comfortable. Breathe down into your belly. Allow your hips to soften. Allow your shoulders to soften. Feel into your jaw and let go of any tension you might be holding in your jaw. And hold this pose for a few minutes, giving your body all the time it needs to totally relax in the shape. Expand your breath low into your belly, high into your collarbones. And with every exhale, give yourself permission to let go a little bit more. Let go of any gripping in your hips, any unnecessary tension in your neck or your jaw. And get curious about where your body's holding on to this tension. Where do you still feel tight? And take a few more deep breaths here. When you're ready to come out of the pose, wiggle your feet out from the strap. Take your hands outside of your knees and use your hands to physically help your knees in towards each other. Then roll over off of your bolster into fetal position. Press into your top hand to help you come up to seated with your neck relaxed. At the end, use your hand to pick your head up. Remove your strap, and you can move your props out of your way. I like to sit on the blanket just for comfort, but totally up to you. Your next pose is Gomukhasana. Start out with your right leg extended out in front of you and cross your left knee over your right. If this already feels tight in your outer hips, you'll stay right here. If you need a little bit more, take your right ankle outside of your left hip and sit up tall. If you have knee sensitivity, activate your feet by flexing them back. Take a deep breath in, lengthen your spine, and start to forward fold as you exhale. And things to look for in your fold are to make sure that you're keeping your spine nice and straight. So we're not thinking of rounding the back to come into the fold. You might choose to place blocks underneath your forearms, or even a stack of blocks underneath your forehead. Feel for pulling your belly in as you fold to make space. Take a deep breath down into your hips. Exhale and relax any gripping in your hips. Inhale into the back of your heart space. Exhale and soften your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Feel for using your breath to help your body let go. And take just a few more breaths here. Get curious about where your body starts to tighten. If you feel your hips start to grip, or your shoulders tense, or your jaw tighten. Every time you catch your body tightening up, you get the opportunity to repattern that habit. To breathe a little bit more deeply and soften into it. Retraining your body not to get tense. come out of the pose. Press into your palms, lift yourself up, pick your head up with your hand, and then change sides. This time extend your left leg out, cross your right knee over your left. You can either stay here or take your left heel outside of your right glute. Inhale, sit up tall. And exhale, keeping your spine nice and long, start to fold forward with a flat back. Again, you can place your forearms on blocks or forehead on blocks. If your knees are sensitive, remember to flex your feet back. And breathe down into your hips. A lot of us hold on to emotions in our hips. So as you breathe down into your hips, get curious about what's held there. Do you feel comfortable in your hips? Do you feel a little bit afraid? Do you feel trusting? Relax your neck and your jaw. Inhale, breathe down into your hips. Exhale, relax, let go of any gripping from your hips. Inhale into your chest. Exhale and soften your jaw, your neck, your throat. Encourage your chest to let go. Keep searching for those muscles that start to grip or tense. And every time you feel that sensation of gripping or tightening or tensing come up, relax instead. Breathe a little bit more deeply and repattern that habit. Come out, slowly walk yourself back up to seated. Use your hand to pick up your head. And then uncross your legs, plant your feet flat on the mat, and windshield wiper your knees side to side to let your hips reset. Pigeon. For pigeon pose, you can use a lot of props or very few props. Set yourself up with your right shin forward and your left leg extended back. Square off your hips and then place a prop of an appropriate size underneath your right hip. So you might need just a blanket. You may need a block. And I'll show you that from the other side. So your hip has support. From here, inhale, telescope your ribs forward, and exhale, fold forward. Let your head rest. I like to rest on the bolster, but you don't necessarily have to rest on something. If you have a sciatica injury or a knee injury on your right side, rather than squaring off your hips, instead pour all of your weight into your hip. Your back knee may bend, and that's okay. Scoot your front foot forward so that your knee is at a 90-degree angle, and then fold over your leg from here. Pigeon pose releases your outer hip, specifically the piriformis muscle. And the piriformis muscle holds onto the energy of fear of loss of control. So as we choose to let go in our practice, breathe down into your outer hip, your piriformis muscle. Get curious about what type of energy might be held there. If there is fear or fear of loss of control held in the muscle. you stretch this muscle, get curious about what's happening in your jaw, your neck, your throat. Feel for a softening in your shoulders, your jaw. And each time your body starts to grip or tense up, give yourself permission to relax. And stay here for a few more breaths. Come out of the pose, walk your hands under your shoulders. Press into your palms, lift up your chest. Roll all the way onto your right hip and switch legs. Opposite leg in front, opposite leg back behind you. Again, if you have no knee injury, square off your hips. Place a prop underneath your hip at an appropriate height for you, and then begin to fold. If you have an injury, pour all of your weight into that hip. Slide the shin to a 90-degree angle. Your back knee may bend, leave it bent. And then start to fold. Sun breath into your outer hip. And at the same time, relax your neck and your jaw. If you find that your jaw is very tense, you may need to exhale through your mouth to let it go. If your shoulders are very tense, you may need to widen your arms a little bit. Breathe in a way that encourages you to release. Slow down your exhalation. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Lift up your chest. Roll all the way onto your hip. Slide your back knee forward. And we'll set up for Sphinx pose. For Sphinx pose, you may want your blanket and you may want your block. If you're using your blanket, make sure that when you lie down, you're padded from your pubic bone all the way up to your ribs. Stack your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. If you have any crunchiness or compression in your lower back, set your head down, lift up one leg at a time and internally rotate it. So toes move in, heel moves out. This will create space in your sacrum. And then reset for Sphinx pose. Elbows under shoulders. Press your palms into the mat. Relax your glutes. And then release your chin down towards your chest. If this is too much on your neck, place a block underneath your head for support. Let go of any gripping in your glutes, your lower back, and your legs. And breathe deeply into your belly. Use your breath to create space in your whole spine. You can choose to keep this pose pretty passive, resting your forehead on the block and just barely hanging out in space. Or you can make it slightly more active by sending your tailbone down, just slightly, and then using your elbows to pull your rib cage forward. This will create a tractioning or a lengthening effect in your spine. Pull the heads of your shoulders back. Shine your collarbones forward. and add that little bit of an active pull. You can do the active pose with your forehead on the block as well. Continue to relax your glutes, even if you're feeling active with the pull. Come out of Sphinx, lift your head up, and then begin to extend your left arm. Weave your right arm underneath with your palm facing up, and place your right ear on the mat. If the mat feels pretty far away, place a block at whatever height you need underneath your ear. And then slide your left knee out into a half frog shape. So your knee is right in line with your hip, and your ankle is right underneath your knee. If your knee is sensitive, put a blanket under it. Breathe into the back of your right shoulder, and breathe into the front of your left hip. In your right shoulder, we hold on to karma of action. These are things that were done, things that were said. So as you breathe into your right shoulder, as you feel into it and allow it to open, scan your body for traces of any grudges you may be holding, or any judgments that you might have towards yourself or anyone else for anything that was done or anything that was said. And if you find that you're holding on to something there, if you remember a grudge or a judgment, take some time to breathe in forgiveness. To let go of the emotions that are held around the action. Forgiveness is not about releasing the person who hurt you. It's about releasing yourself from that hurt. You can choose to stay right here, or if you'd like to add on a quad stretch, bend your right knee, this is the straight leg that's behind you, and reach your left hand towards the top of your right foot. If you don't quite reach, you can also use a strap to grab. From here, actively press your right hip down into the mat, and use your left hand to press your right heel down towards your glute. You can choose to stay active or leave it really passive, just barely holding on to the foot. Your quad muscles, the front of your thigh, hold on to the energy of forward movement. Confidence and trust in yourself to get your goals complete. If you have the quad stretch, gently start to release it. Place your left hand back under your left shoulder. Slide your left leg back to meet the right. And then press into your left palm to unweave your right arm. And return to Sphinx pose. Take a moment in Sphinx to reset. And then take the other side. Extend your right arm and weave your left arm under the right, placing your left ear down on the block. Slide your right knee out to the right. And again, if your knee is sensitive, place something under it. breathe into the back of your left shoulder and the front of your right hip. Your left shoulder holds on to karma of inaction. These are things that were not done or things that were not said. So as you breathe into your left shoulder, feel into all of the muscles of the shoulder and feel for any emotions held there, any grudges or any judgments for anything that was not done or not said. And if you find a judgment or a grudge against someone else or yourself, take a moment for forgiveness. Releasing yourself from that judgment, from that grudge. And creating space for things that you really want to live around your heart and your shoulders. Things like kindness, compassion, affection, love. To add on the quad stretch, bend your left knee, the one behind you. Reach your right hand back towards the top of your left foot. And either keep it very passive by just barely holding on, or actively press your left hip down into the mat and use your right hand to pull the heel down towards your glute. And breathe into the front of your left thigh. Send energy there to your quad muscles. Release your left leg down. Place your right hand back under your right shoulder. Slide your right leg back to meet left. Press into your right palm and return to Sphinx. This time, if you had a block under your ear, remove that. Stack your palms on top of each other and rest your forehead down on the back of your hands for crocodile pose. Take a few breaths here. Then release your forehead all the way down. Slide your hands under your shoulders and press yourself up onto your knees. Setting up for child's pose. Child's pose I like to do with my knees padded, just for comfort. If you have a knee injury or knee sensitivity, I would recommend adding a bolster between your shins and your thighs, or if that's not enough, a bolster and a blanket. If you just have a blanket might be enough as well. The goal of this is to decrease the angle of your knee so that it's not so sensitive. Then from there, start to walk forward into your child's pose. You can extend your arms forward or rest them by your sides. If the ground feels very far away, place a block under your forehead. Breathe down into your belly and your hips. Let your jaw soften. Relax your neck. Child's pose is a naturally introspective posture. As you hold this pose, breathe into your entire spine, from your lower back all the way to your throat. And as you breathe, feel into what kind of energy your spine is holding. Does it feel relaxed? Does it feel tense? Do you have an injury? Breathe into those spaces that feel tense or injured. And use your breath to send healing energy there, to let go of any tension, to create space around any injury. Slide your hands under your shoulders. Press into your palms. Lift yourself up. And then use your hand to pick your head up. Dragonfly pose. For dragonfly pose, I recommend using plenty of props to totally support yourself. For the pose, you'll open your legs out into a straddle. If your knees do not easily straighten, place blocks underneath of them instead. Your knees do not have to be straight in this pose. And if it causes discomfort for your hamstrings or if your hamstrings are injured, I don't recommend it. And then lie down straight out in front of you. If your forearms can easily touch the ground, that might be enough support. You may also choose to place a bolster underneath you. And if the ground still feels far away, stack up your blocks. Taking one block on tall setting, one block on medium setting, and then place your bolster along that, creating a ramp. And then begin to fold over that ramp or over your props. Let one ear rest on your bolster so that your neck can relax. Keep your legs somewhat active just by flexing your feet back or pressing with the ball of your foot. Choose whatever feels better in your body. And then breathe down into your belly and your hips. Allow yourself to let go of any unnecessary tension in your hips, of any gripping in your belly. Allow your spine to feel supported by whatever it is that you're laying down on. If you find tension in your jaw, take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale audibly through your mouth. Encourage your jaw, your neck, your shoulders to all soften. About halfway through, if your cheek was on one side, you might choose to switch cheeks. What is it that you're holding on to? Some of us hold on to past relationships. Some of us hold on to old ways of thinking, past. What is it that you've held on to for so long? And what would it take for you to let go? Who would you be if you let go? What would you have space for, energy for, if you let go? hands back under your shoulders. Press into your palms. Keep your neck relaxed as you sit up, and then use your hand to pick your head up. Remove your bolster or your props from out in front of you. Take your hands outside of your knees and use your hands to help guide your feet back in towards each other. And lightly windshield wiper your knees side to side to reset your hips. Final Shavasana. Lay down on your back. You might choose to use props for your Shavasana as well. If your back is a little bit sensitive, you can use your blanket underneath your back. Or my favorite way is to use either your bolster or your blanket underneath your knees. This is really nice for people with tighter low backs or tight hamstrings. Roll onto your side and then to your back. Let your feet fall open. Tuck your tailbone to make space for your low back. And then rest your palms facing up by your sides. This is symbolic of receiving. If you find that your shoulders are hiked up, slide your shoulder blades down your back. If your neck is very sensitive, you can place a pillow underneath your neck. And start to scan your body, scanning from the bottoms of your feet all the way up to the crown of your head. Relax your feet. Relax your ankles. Relax your calves. Relax your knees. Relax your thighs. Relax your hips. Relax your belly. Relax your back. Relax your chest. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax your hands. Relax the back of your neck. Relax your throat. Relax your jaw. Relax your forehead. Relax your whole body. Take this time to let your body absorb all of the benefits of your practice. Feeling calm, spacious, letting go is a process. And you began that process today with a soothing yoga practice. You can choose to stay here a little while longer. When you're ready to get up, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And softly turn your head to the right and to the left. Reach your arms over your head like you just woke up from a nap. And point your toes. Stretch your whole body long. Roll onto your side in fetal position. Use your arm as a pillow. And pause for a moment here in gratitude. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today. With your eyes closed and your neck relaxed, press into your top hand and use your top hand and your core to sit you up. Keep your neck relaxed the whole time. Find a seat, and then use your hand to pick your head up. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yoga practice for letting go today. My name is Adriana, and if you like this video, please leave me a comment, like, and hit that subscribe button.